What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Knab and Ro Show. I'm here with my compatriot and partner in crime, Ro. Say hi, Ro.
Hi, kids.
And welcome back to our podcast. I was out of town again last week, so we missed the podcast last week.
Such a world traveler.
I know, but wait, there's more. Next week, I'll be in Las Vegas. Woo!
Oh,
the city that never sleeps. So I will be gone, and we won't do a podcast again for another 2 weeks. We'll get back to the every week thing, posting up on Thursdays. But as of January and February, very busy months for me for work as far as that goes. But so tomorrow, being that when we post this, it'll be the 13th. So tomorrow, the 14th, is Valentine's Day. So
yay.
That means we're talking about what, Ro?
Valentine's Day.
Oh, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I can't really help myself as far as it goes. So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I think we're going to talk about Valentine's Day, what it means to us, and if we have any plans.
Okay.
And then a special surprise.
Okay, it's about special, but I'll try my best.
So, what are your plans for Valentine's Day? Do you and your wife usually do anything?
Well, let's see. So this will post on the 13th, which is, a Thursday? And then Friday is Valentine's Day, if I'm correct. We don't really have some plans. Oh, I know we are. We're doing our taxes.
Yay, taxes!
Yeah. So we're meeting with the CPA. We have a lot of stuff that we've done on the house, and then Alistair is born. So there's a lot of things that are going into this year that we have to do. So that's kind of our plan. We might just watch a show or something like that. Who knows? Do something fun. What about you?
Yeah. Nope. I'll probably order a pizza and probably binge watch some television. I'm kind of into a few different series, so I will probably pick one, whatever I want to, and go from there.
Well, okay, come on, Ro. Honestly, it is super important that our listeners know what show you're watching, because that's where they get their recommendation from. So
That's
on
true.
Valentine's Day, what is your preferred show?
I will probably be watching old school episodes of CS. Not gonna lie.
CSI? No, which one?
The regular one, the one from Vegas.
Oh, the regular one.
The
Okay.
original. Yeah, the original.
Oh, and how appropriate, because I'll be in Vegas. Ooh.
Oh.
What if
yeah,
there's a
next-
murder mystery?
Well, don't call me.
No. Hey, Ro, I need to get bailed out. We just pulled
Don't tell the wife.
Yeah,
Don't tell the wife.
we just pulled a hangover. It's
Well,
actually funny.
I'll take the monkey. You can take all the rest of the stuff. Wasn't there a monkey in that show?
I think there was. Yeah, there was also a lion. I think in the first one. That was a
Yeah.
tiger or something like that. Yeah, but funny story. So I know we're kind of stuck on the Vegas topic, but a good buddy of mine, he is going to be coming out. So I met with him Saturday. We all hung out, did a game night, and I was just we were drinking, talking about, I'm going to Vegas. And he said, that'd be awesome if I could go, get a plane flight. You have the hotel room ready, just come out and hang out with you. I was like, yeah, whatever. That sounds good. The next day I get a text, says, hey, got my plane ticket. I'll be coming down to Vegas. I'm like, well, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someone wanted to go to Vegas.
Yeah, well, he found a flight for like 70 something bucks. It was super cheap.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, wow, yeah, dude, absolutely, come on out. So free place to stay. We'll hang out, do some fun stuff. I have to work though, half days, but it'd be
Right.
okay. It'll still be fun.
Still, you got your evenings.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else do we have on the docket, ma'am?
Well, now that we know what each other's doing for Valentine's Day, how do you feel about that holiday? I know there's a lot of holidays we celebrate during the year. Some more prominent than others. You got Christmas and Thanksgiving and things like that. What are your feelings on Valentine's?
So I'm torn. I'm a little bit indifferent. It really depends on where I am in life at that specific time. Now, overall, I believe that Valentine's Day is, we're talking like Hallmark holiday compared to an important holiday that should be celebrated, right?
Sure.
Okay, we'll go with that. I think it's nice to have a day that the world can slow down, stop, and just be a bunch of mushy, loving people. But at the same time, you should be doing that all the time anyways. Call me a hippie, call me what you will. But I think it's important to always have a Valentine's Day, like every week, every day, whatever. Show whoever you're with that you care about them. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Unless you're fighting and then just start smacking each other around, whatever. Totally kidding.
No, I'm totally agree with you on that. I definitely feel like it's more of a Hallmark holiday. You shouldn't need a day to express your appreciation or love for family, friends, significant others, children, anything like that. It's I'm not really sure what the whole whoop-de-loo. I don't even know what the history of Valentine's Day is. Other than like Saint Valentine, I think, or something is, and then you've got Cupid, but that's one of those mythical characters.
So I am going to actually look it up real quick and just take a look and see what it says. This is from Britannica.com. Actually, no, let's do History Channel. I trust the History Channel a little more than whatever the hell that was. Okay.
It's probably,
So Valentine's Day occurs every February 14th. Duh. Across the United States and in other places around the world, candy, flowers, gifts are exchanged between loved ones, all in the name of Saint Valentine. But who is the mysterious saint, and where did these traditions come from? So the legend of Saint Valentine, I'll be quick. Saint Valentine, who according to some sources is actually two distinct historical characters who were said to have healed a child while imprisoned and executed by decapitation. Oh.
Lovely.
Okay. So, the history of Valentine's Day.
I love you. Here's a head.
Yeah, here, take this. Well, that sounds more like something from Vampire Diaries. Like, here's a head. And the story of this patron saint is shrouded in mystery. We do know that February has long been celebrated as the month of romance, and that St. Valentine's Day, as we know it today, contains vestige of both Christian and ancient Roman traditions, but they're still getting but who is it? So obviously it's a Catholic, technically, it's recognized by the Catholic Church as a big piece. And then Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers than those with wives and families. He outlawed marriage for young men. So that's weird.
Makes sense, though.
Is that where Singles Awareness Day comes from?
Oh, jeez. I'm going to celebrate that, too.
Oh. So,
well, you're married. I guess I'll have to participate in that, that holiday.
Oh, here's something interesting, and then we'll kind of cut it here, but it says, Origins of Valentine's Day, a pagan festival in February. While some believe that Valentine's Day is celebrated in the middle of February to commemorate the anniversary of Valentine's death and burial, which was around 270 AD, others claim that the Christian Church may have decided to place St. Valentine's feast day in the middle of February in efforts to Christianize, quote-unquote, the pagan celebration of Lupercalia, it's Lupercalia, celebrated at the ideas of February or February 15th, that it was fertility festival dedicated to Faunus, Faunus, the Roman god of agriculture, as well as the Roman founders Romulus and Remus. Oh, that's kind of interesting. I never knew that. Well, we'll go from that. That seems like a lot. There's a crap ton more information, like who is Cupid, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going into all that crap.
Yeah,
so,
we did the lesson.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it is now the holiday celebrated to the dead guy whose head was rolling into a bucket. so let's just chop that one up to that.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, and like I said earlier, I don't need a specific day to appreciate people, or tell them that I appreciate them, or tell them that I love them, because my friends and family are very important to me, and they know who they are, and hopefully I show my appreciation to them as much as I can. But I do appreciate our friendship, Mr. McNab.
You are so sweet. Thank you, Ro.
You're welcome.
So this is our platform to get our voices out there, to do and say whatever the heck we want. So this is your opportunity to tell those people that you love how you feel. Fire away, Ro.
I want to thank my family and friends for their continual support and everything I've done, from being a little child to current adulthood. I definitely wouldn't be where I am without them. And I just appreciate their love and support. And a lot of people don't have the kind of family dynamic or friend circle that I do have. And I'm very fortunate for that. And I know I sometimes take advantage of it. But, I'm surrounded by a lot of really good people. And I appreciate and love all of them very, very much.
Awesome. And I'll mirror that. And if you've known me growing up, I was a little pain in the butt. I mean, let's just say
no, not you.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I was a difficult human to deal with growing up. And honestly, the main people that I will thank and give my love to primarily are my two kids, Roran and Alistair, because it really took me having those two to, and everybody says this when they have kids, but to really step into adulthood's, get your booty in gear. And it's crazy. I now watch movies or shows where a baby gets harmed or a kid gets harmed, and I get so infuriated. Like I rage. So I first and foremost want to say I love you boys. Roar and Alistair, wife Stephanie, family, friends, all the people that have stuck around through some weird times. I'm just saying. I had some weird times, and it's just really good. So thank you, everybody, and I love you all. And Ro, you are my bestie. I love you to death. Thank you for doing the podcast with me.
Of course, anytime. Aww.
Well, cool. Awesome. So what's next on the docket, Ro?
Well, I'm not sure if everybody knows this, but I'm going to prelude to a little story here. So, Mr. Michael Knab here had one of the, if not the best proposals to his wife I have ever heard of in my. This gentleman went above and beyond to do this amazing proposal, and seeing as it's Valentine's Day soon, I only felt that it was a good choice to share this story with our listeners because it's good, and perhaps it will inspire others to do wonderful proposals to their future husbands and wives and everything. But it was just amazing, and I just want you to share it because it's great. And yeah.
Oh man, we're making this making this public. I'm gonna be setting that bar insanely high here. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
So before I do tell us, I have a quick funny story to tell. I was getting ring size and everything before the wedding and all that. And I'm in the jewelers, and I'm talking to the guy that owns the shop. He was in a network group with me, and we're just BSing a little bit about stuff. And he wanted to hear how I proposed, and so I told him all about it and everything. And this girl is sitting down next to her mom, like bulgy-eyed, gaping maw, staring at me. And I'm like, what the heck happened? I turn around, I'm like, are you okay? What's going on? She said, I am so pissed. My boyfriend proposed to me outside the bathroom at the bar.
Maybe that's where they met. Maybe it was a special place.
Oh my gosh. I can tell you what, there is not one couple I've talked to. I'm afraid to talk about my story because it's going to piss people off because it's going to make me sound arrogant. And it's not the case. It's not what I'm going for. I'm just, go big or go home, right?
Right. Well, and you definitely did. I mean, there's a lot of planning. A lot of planning. And people, our listeners, will totally understand everything because there was a lot that went into this.
A month and a half.
Yeah, like a lot. And it's just amazing. So you have the platform, sir. Tell your story.
Okay, this might be cattywampus and kind of all over the place. I have it in memory, obviously, but I didn't write anything down, so if I end up bouncing back and forth, just bear with me. So, to preface, Stephanie has a degree, and I don't know if she's going to care if I say this or not, but she has a degree in medieval studies. So I'm like, okay, how could I propose? Hey, she likes that stuff. I like the Renaissance Fair. Maybe I could do something there. And that was the thought. I was up in Dayton, Ohio at Miami Valley Country Club with my nieces and nephews at the kiddie pool on the phone with the Renaissance Fair when I initially started this conversation. That part you actually didn't know. I don't think I told you that either.
No.
So I'm on the phone. I'm like, hey, I have this idea. Can I get away with it? Can you find out? And I kind of told her what I wanted to do. Can you find out and then call me back? So she eventually got a hold of this group, and the group who was actually up in, I believe, Alaska in competition, got the permission as long as I signed waivers and agreed to this cost, then I could go ahead and do it. I'm not talking about the cost, just for the record, but it wasn't cheap either, I'll tell you that, but it was totally worth it. So I get a hold of the Renaissance Fair. I end up going up there on an agreed date for the next month and a half. I was in between jobs. I just left my one job. I was about to go to the next one literally in a month and a half. So I had just that amount of time to go ahead and plan everything out. So my plan was, and I'll just tell you, and I'll tell you kind of how it happened, was to utilize the Renaissance Fair, but do it in a way that I would have fun to do the shock and awe. I'm not just talking like at one of the shows, have them pull me up on stage and propose. That's lame. That's like, oh, okay, I am not really creative, but it's in the middle of like thousands of people. Let's just do that. No, this is not what this guy does. Knab doesn't do that. So I went up to the Renaissance Fair. I talked to the Knights of Valor full contact jousting team. Now, disclaimer, they're not paying me for anything like this. This is just saying, just to let you know. So I talked to them, another jousting team, that their main home point is at the Ohio Renaissance Festival. And the horse trainer at the time, who took care of the horses and all that jazz, helped train new knights for riding, took me up there. I already knew how to ride horse, but got me training how to ride on a Percheron named Gulliver in a full suit of armor that could weigh anywhere from like 80 to 130 pounds, depending on what all I had on, right? So I did that. I practiced. I got through it. And then came the day. Now, here's where the planning came in. I had to talk to the people at the Ren Fair. So it's the Rennies. I mean, come on now. One person knows, everybody there knows. So everybody knew about the whole story. They knew where they needed to be, when. But the hardest part for me was planning for the 35 people from Arizona, Florida, Michigan, Illinois, Washington State. Like, literally friends she hasn't seen since high school, just family members, friends, everybody just coming in at the same time. They had to be at the Renaissance Fair at this specific date at a specific time, like 11:15 on the dot. And they all did. They got there. It was great. And I had to sneak them in to a specific spot, right? So we were already planning on going to the Renaissance Fair with my sister. She was going to be our kind of control to try to get her where she needed to be. Right. So I had saved in my phone a number to the person who's in charge of the entire event, and I saved it as like some random bank's name, like HR, like U.S. Bank or Huntington, Fifth Third, whatever, HR. And I looked at her, I said, hey, I just got a phone call. I told my sister because Stephanie was supposed to see it, but she actually didn't. So that part actually didn't work. But I just said, hey, just tell Stephanie I got the call for the phone interview, quote unquote. And I just ran away. I just ran out of the park, right? And so my sister knew at that point she had to take her the opposite direction, opposite side of the park. So she did that. As I'm running back in, I run into all of our friends, family, her family, and literally they were within distance, a good viewing distance where she could probably have saw them if she looked hard enough. But they were all dressed up in like Friar Tuck outfits and stuff. It was hilarious. So I saw them and said, guys, come with me. And they followed me back to the paddock not the paddock, but the starting area of where all the horses are and the jousters get ready before the show. So we snuck them there, and then there is this thing called a dais. That's where the queen sits, and there's like some walls that separate the main spot where the queen is from the two preferred VIP seating on either side of the queen. I rented an entire side of the dais for our family, and then the one person had to meet up with my sister to take them to the other side of the dais, right next to the wall. So get Stephanie to sit right next to the wall so she couldn't see to the other side where all her friends and family were, which was very difficult to do. But it all had to be, at the right time, right place, the whole 9 yards.
Right.
So we got her there. Everything was great. I'm sweating. I'm nervous. I'm shaking. I'm freaking in a suit of armor. I'm like, oh my God. Now, unlike the other nights, they didn't have a helmet on. I had the full helmet on because I was introduced. Well, let me backtrack. Here's where I want to bounce around a little bit. So they go ahead and introduce Sir Samson. They introduce Sir Joseph. And then they introduce me as the Silent Knight. And the master of ceremonies, my buddy Bob, he did all the announcing, introduced me as the Silent Knight. That's why I kept the mask on. Obviously, I didn't want her to see who I was, but the mask, the helmet, they're going to punch me for saying mask. The helmet took a vow of silence until he can regain his honor, blah, 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 blah. So he announced me, and I'm on the back of this beautiful white horse. I mean, this is something from Princess Bride, right? I'm on the back of this white, beautiful war horse, riding out at armor. They introduced, put your hands together for the Silent Knight, and I come riding out. And then we go ahead and do the favor, where each knight has a rose and they give it to somebody in the stands. So I ride my horse over, give it to my trainer who was there to help make sure I didn't die or fall off the horse or anything. And I gave her the rose, so she gave it over to Stephanie in the stands. So that was the start. So we went ahead and then we started the games, where, again, mind you, they don't have helmets on. I did. So considering I got 3 out of the 6, I'm pretty good, pretty happy about that. But you take a spear, you run through the list on the horse, and you try to put the spear through the hoops, like through the little rings that your squires are holding up. And so there's 6 of them each side. I think I ended up getting like 3, like I said. So I did that, and that's all good. And then I go over to the mounting block. And as I am not paying attention at all, going to the mounting block to get off my horse and get down, Sir Joseph goes over to Stephanie in the stands and, per the show, flirted with her to try to gain her favor and challenged me for her favor, if that makes sense. So really, he was over there saying, hey, it's part of the show, just bear with it, blah, 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 really milking it, making it thick. So at that point, they took my pauldrons off. They took my helmet. No, not my helmet. Sorry, just the pauldrons off, so I can move my arms around. Gave me a flamberge, which is like a wavy, big sword, a 2-handed sword. And then Sir Joseph and I do a little sword fight. At the end, I end up winning, of course, the sword fight. So he did not win the favor, but the queen at that point said, I think someone who's fought so gallantly, or however she said it, should indeed be knighted this day. And that was my thing. I wanted to be knighted. Like, hell, I'm paying all this money. I want to be knighted. So I go up to we'll call it the deck. It's the dais, but it's like the deck part right in front of the queen. And I take a knee, and I put my head down so you can't see in the into the helmet, into the visor, anything like that. Right. And then the queen says, and I think the person that should knight him should be the girl whom he gave his rose to. And at this point, no, Stephanie's probably like, oh, shit, I got to go out in front of these people and do this. So the queen pulls her forward, and she gets out her saber, and, just repeat after me. And obviously, when she pulled Stephanie on, say, it's part of the show, just go with it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know exactly what she said. I never asked, just to be honest. Right. Pulls her down, and then Stephanie takes a sword and repeats after the queen on behalf of Saint Michael and Saint George, and of God above, I dub thee Sir Michael. And she had no idea, even though they went from the Silent Knight to Sir Michael. So she said, rise, Sir Michael, and serve thy kingdom well. I get up and turn away immediately from Stephanie, and she still has no idea at this point. And my trainer and some of the other squires come over, take my helmet off. Danny, I totally just said her name. My trainer, Danny, went ahead and gave me the ring. And as soon as my head is off, and my head was down, so I could still, once the helmet was off, kind of hide who I was. Mm-hmm. Turn around, bam, on one knee, in front of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people at this joust. And she still didn't see her friends and family. So I said my little spiel to her, proposed, said, will you marry me? She said yes. And then everybody freaked out. We kissed, did the whole 9. And then I said, and by the way, look that way. And she saw her family and freaked out. She just thought she thought we were just going to the Renaissance Festival. The funniest thing about that is because the night before, to kind of get to my sisters to go with them the next day to the Renaissance Festival, I said that, hey, we were babysitting her kids, staying the night there so they could go on a date night. Mm-hmm. She was so pissed off at me because she wanted to have a date night for us. Like, she was mad at me that night. But I couldn't have us stay at our house. I said, I already got a dog sitter. I got everything. We're fine. Right. We're going up because her family was staying at our house that night.
Right.
So I had to sneak all this in. And then went to the fair, and then I proposed. Finally, she sees her family, and she freaks out. It's great. Everybody's happy. They finish the joust. And then at like 4 o'clock or 3:30, something like that, 4:30, we ended up we paid for a whole catering and like turkey legs, mashed potatoes, green beans, all that stuff, mead,
Right.
and just had a big celebration. It was a lot of fun. And actually one of the strolling minstrels came by and played for us, which was not planned, but that was
how fun.
pretty awesome. So that is my story. I'm sorry it was so long-winded. It's a long story.
No, it's such a good one, though. I love it. It's so good.
So, the plan was if she didn't say yes, I was going to just say, well, screw it, run away with the jousters, like, whatever. What else do I got to lose?
Right. Oh, well, I'm glad it worked out. It sounds like, clearly it went as planned for the most part. Not very many hiccups.
Yeah, well, I almost fell off once, I will tell you that.
That's true. Actually, there is a video somewhere. I did watch the video of when that happened. This happened a few years ago. I'm not sure.
It's from a camera phone, like when camera phones are still crappy.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the
Still,
early
though,
phones.
Yeah, no, I saw it at some point, and it was amazing. It was a great story, and you did a remarkable job, and it was amazing.
Oh gosh, you're so kind. You're so kind, Ro.
It's great.
And as you guys saw in the video, obviously I posted some of the pictures that I had of it so you guys could see it as I was telling the story. But it was a blast. I had a great time. And then I went, got drunk, bought a suit of armor, bought a sword, but, whatever. Just the usual
Yeah, and
thing.
you wore it at your wedding, too.
I did. And here is the picture of me and Stephanie at our wedding and me and my armor. It was... It's pretty exciting. I love it. I love wearing it every Halloween. Any chance I get, I put it on.
It's great. Yeah. It's awesome. I love it.
So is that all we got for tonight, Ro?
That is all we have for tonight, kids.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you guys find someone to love. And if not, enjoy Singles Awareness Day. Do something fun. Treat yourself to something nice. And as always, guys and gals, this podcast is a wrap.
Night, kids.